This is a warning. The Grim Reaper of radio, Bob Romanik, with his off-the-record show is about to air. He's probably the nastiest and craziest son of a bitch that you've ever had the misfortune to encounter. The Grim Reaper show will be very controversial and probably quite tasteless. If you are even slightly offended by controversial matter concerning religion, racial matters, politics, or life's problems, you are hereby warned to turn this program off immediately. The Grim Reaper show will be, like his face, very scary and very ugly. At this time, not proudly, but shamefully presents to you Bob Romanik, the craziest son of a bitch on the radio today.
This is Bob Romanik, the Grim Reaper of radio, and you're listening to the all-new KQQZ 1190 AM, simulcasting on KZQZ 1430 AM, America's bi-state voice of freedom, insane broadcasting, and we are, as always, proud, very, very proud to be the Patriot. Hey, good Thursday morning. You can't believe what happened. We came out to the airport. The county paid to have a radio station come in for 3 hours to talk about the good things at MidAmerica Airport. Now, I'm not going to mention the radio station because I thought they were pretty reputable until they're going to be a shill for the Democrats over here. We tried to get in to MidAmerica Airport so we could broadcast, not to disrupt anybody, but get fair treatment. And this asswipe, they got a call from Kern, and this asswipe, no good, rotten son of a bitch, the director of security, Rich Burke, comes speeding up to me in his car like there was a homicide going on, gets up in my face, and you can't do that, you can't do that. You people, do you understand? This is America. These son of a bitches, and he says, I work for Cantrell, who works for Kern, who works for us, people. We're out here in the wind, and it's going to start raining. We were going to be here the same 3 hours that the other radio station was going to be here. And I can really barely talk. I am so pissed off. These son of a bitches tried to intimidate us, and we were asked to leave. Now, when Elliot Davis brings his crew, and nothing against Elliot Davis, I love the guy. He exposes a lot of corruption all throughout the political setting. But when he comes in with his cameras, he doesn't have to get special permission. Nobody has to get special permission but Bob Romanik, the Grim Reaper, and you know why that is? Because they know I'm going to tell the truth. I'm going to tell them the way it is. These no good, no count, rotten son of the bitches. And people, they do it to all of us. If they do it to me, they'll do it to anyone. See, because I don't give a damn. They want to intimidate people. They want to harass people. They want to arrest people. And they've done all to me. But they're going to have to put a bullet in my head, and not politically. Put a bullet in my head to stop me. And my head's probably hard enough it wouldn't hurt. But everyone out there, do you understand? We're out here on the side of the road broadcasting. It's windy. I know you can hear the wind in the background. It's getting ready to rain. Now, the other radio stations, they've got a nice setup inside the MidAmerica Airport because, see, they're going to kiss Kern's ass. They're from St. Louis. They don't pay any taxes over here. They haven't paid part of the $500 million in taxes that we've paid, the good people of St. Clair County. Mark Kern will do whatever he needs to do, people, to get reelected. You know, they've told me that he's talked to the Republican organization. You know, yesterday you heard me talking about the 15% of people that are organized Democrats and the other 15% of people that are organized Republicans. Well, see, we're the 70% of independents. We're the 70% of people who think for themselves. Again, may have Democratic leanings, may have Republican leanings, but we're not true Democrats or true Republicans. We're true Americans. And we're going to vote our conscience. We're going to vote the person. We're not going to vote the party. But I hear that Kern is so upset, he's going to spend another $300,000 on advertising, on hit pieces. I'm sure there'll be a lot on me, a lot on Roger Cook. But those hit pieces aren't going to do any good. These people in the county, Kern, they don't want to know what a bad guy Roger is that you say he is. They don't want to know what a bad guy Bob Romanik is, who Bob Romanik says he's a bad guy. They want to know what you've done. You can cast all the bad light you want, sweet cakes. but it's not going to stop these people from voting you out of office. They're tired after 12 years, and you're going to promise them prosperity? We've got pictures coming out on our website and on our Facebook about all the money spent on the houses for everybody. And you ought to see the $2 million estate that Bob, I'd rather piss in my pants than piss in a urinal Sprague, lives in. You people aren't living that well. They're taking total advantage of all of us people. We know that. They don't like me because I expose them day in and day out. Now, politicians don't like it if you expose them politically, but when you embarrass them publicly, they can't take that because, see, they all think they're big shots. They walk down the street thinking they're somebody. And they're only somebody because we elect them. We give them the title. We, the people, give them the title, and we, the people, can take that title away. And come November the 8th, 2016, I think we're going to take a lot of titles away from these no-good son of a bitches. But I got to say, I'm really traumatized at this point for the Director of Security, Rich Burke, come pulling up to me like I was going to kill somebody. Gets all in my face until I told him to get out of my face. But we pulled off. They said, you can't be on this without permission. But again, remember Elliot Davis? Remember CBS? The fleecing of America? They didn't have permission. Nobody has to have permission but Bob Romanik and Insane Broadcasting, because Bob Romanik and Insane Broadcasting is the only radio station that's not going to kiss their ass, that's not going to step and fetch for them, the only radio station that's going to tell you the way it is. And see, Kern doesn't like that. But I hear they had a secret meeting with Doug Jamieson, the head of the Republican Party, and Barb Viviano and Mary Turbman and Ron Dupert. They're trying to cut a deal with the Republican organization, and that's okay, because they'll never cut a deal with the rank and file, the true Republicans. They'll never cut a deal with the rank and file true Democrats, who I believe are all going to vote their conscience this election. You heard me yesterday, people. You heard me yesterday. What are you, a Democrat? What are you, a Republican, a rank and file Democrat, a rank and file Republican? What are you guys getting out of this electoral process? You're definitely not getting jobs. You're not getting any public service. What you are getting is screwed. They take more and more and more of your tax dollars, and then they tell you it's going to get better. How the hell? The only way it could get better if these bastards, these low-life, bottom-feeding, son of a bitch, these political punks that we call politicians, if we get rid of them. And that's what we're going to do, people. We the people of the state of Illinois, we the people of St. Clair County, we're going to make a difference this time. Don't let them tell you your vote doesn't count. They'll want you to be apathetic. They'll want you to stay at home. This is a year where you can't stay at home. If you cherish your family, if you love your family, if you want to progress in the future, you can't stay at home on November the 8th, 2016. You have to be out. You have to cast your vote. And we have to run these son of a bitches out of office. But we're here at the airport. They're having a 3-hour show talking about how good it is at MidAmerica Airport. Now, can anybody fathom that? Can anybody even think that Kern thinks, and you know what Kern does? Mark Sweet Cakes Kern, he thinks we're stupid enough that we're going to believe his crap. People have listened to your crap, Kern, for 12 years. And see, I'm going to pay you to come on and be transparent to the good people of St. Clair County. And you're paying to get on the radio. You're paying to get your face on the billboards, and I'm still challenging you. I'll pledge $50,000 of my advertising money, Kern. You pledge $50,000 of yours. Let's take that money off the table. Nobody wants to hear about my crap or your crap. Let's pull that money off the table, and let's feed the hungry in East St. Louis. Let's feed the hungry in the outer county. Let's take care of the less fortunate all throughout St. Clair County. No, you want your face up on a billboard. You want to be St. Clair County chairman. And they tell me that you and Sprague are single shooting. So the rest of you candidates out there, you know what you got. All they care about is Kern being elected so he can give these jobs up at the airport. He can give his family and friends. He can give every one of his political supporters a job. But that's only 10-15%, people. What about the rest of us? What about the rest of us? We get nothing but screwed. And it's year after year. In this airport, you heard you heard me talk about the report a couple days ago from the Washington Post. a highly respected newspaper out of Washington, D.C. They always get their facts right before they print them. The Allegiant Airline has the worst record of any airline flying the deadly skies because you could die, in my opinion, you could die on one of these Allegiant planes. They've pulled them out of service. They pulled them back. There's been smoke in the cabins. There's more complaints in a week, I think they said, or a month with Allegiant Airline, and I can't find my papers. It's too windy out here. More complaints on Allegiant Airline about safety factors than all year with any of the other airlines. Why do you think Allegiant is here at MidAmerica? Because they can't go anyplace else. They go to these small airports, and that's okay. They go to these small airports that cost, $200,000, $300,000 to build in these small towns. But not an airport that costs $500 million of taxpayers' money. Hell, we ought to have TWA. We ought to have presidential flights out of MidAmerica Airport for as much as this cost. But we don't, but they're going to time and time again, they're going to say it's going to get better. Part of this debacle is the reason that the NGA, the $500 million development, and let's don't forget about that. See, Kern wants to forget about that. It's in the paper for a day or two or three, then it's forgot about. It's not going to be forgot about here at KQQZ and KZQZ. We're going to bring it up because it is an albatross around the neck of St. Clair County. But Allegiant Airline comes here, and you've heard me. They get subsidized. They get subsidized by Las Vegas, by Destin, some of the vacation locations. And that's a smart move because they're taking our people to Vegas, to Destin, all over the vacation land, and those people are spending their money out of St. Clair County. So think about it, people, for every $50 that Allegiant charges for an airline ticket, we get about 1,000 to 15, and I don't know the exact figure because some people spend more than others. Every passenger, say they take $1,500, that's $1,500 times how many thousand people fly out of MidAmerica. That could go to our restaurants, our bars, our concert venues, our hotels, our casinos. They don't want to tell you that. All they want to do is see bodies come through the airport so they can say, look, it's not how many people come into a bar. It's how successful, how much money. I've been in bars where 50 people have spent $10,000. And I've been in other bars where 10,000 people spent $50. And that's what's happening here at the MidAmerica Airport. And now they're having broadcast on radio. He's getting ads. Going to talk about how can he embarrass all of us in St. Clair County. How can he embarrass us and say how good this airport is? And I told you, it's bad enough. It's bad enough that they're hurting us financially. But now they're going to hurt our families, potentially hurt our families physically. Would you want your people, your family, flying out of an airport? They don't tell you the bad things, do they? Kern doesn't tell you about the safety record. No, we brought Allegiant Air. Hey, I can bring, if Saddam Hussein wasn't dead, I'm sure I could get him to come to town for enough money. That doesn't make it good. It makes it dangerous. I'd rather see no flights out. I want to see, and I talked with Roger Cook, and he'll be with us momentarily. We both wanted to see the NGA because it's in our district. It's in Rogers County, St. Clair County. It's in my legislative district. We want to see MidAmerica Airport do good because we want to see the people not have this tax burden. But I'll be damned. And I make this analogy. If somebody has terminal cancer and has 3 weeks to live, you don't spend $200,000 on a heart transplant because he needs a heart transplant too. You just let it die out. But see, Kern won't do that. Sprague won't do that. They're going to prove, and it's not their business. If it was their business, I'd say, boy, what bad business people. Now all I can say is what bad, crooked politicians they are. They're not going to let this thing die out. Roger Cook and I have discussed it. He's going to Washington to talk to people in the transportation department. And I'm for giving it back, leasing it back to the federal government with the option, and if we ever need it, then we can lease some back. It'll save you people a fortune in tax revenue. Of course, Roger, too, I'm going to cut my staff back if I'm elected state representative. I'm not going to take a salary. Roger's pledged through attrition. He's pledged to cut back at least 25, 30%. And you're going to get the same service. Because there's a lot of duplication in St. Clair County because there's a lot of politicians that have jobs. Roger Cook's not going to stand for it. We're not going to put our friends to work, our family to work. We're going to put the qualified people to work. And now all of a sudden, since we're on that subject, did you see in Madison County, a small radio station? See, Kern's going to every radio station except mine, and that's okay, because at this point, I don't want him stinking up my studio, because he smells like a piece of crap, because he is a piece of crap. On a small radio station in Alton, Illinois, Kern is on there telling people to come apply for jobs in St. Clair County. They'll help you with your resume. They'll help you with this. Kern, there's no jobs. You lying son of a bitch. There's no jobs. And if you're going to give jobs, give them to people in St. Clair County, not Madison County. You've never advertised for a job. Roger Cook's been on the air several times. That's one of his pledges. He's pledging that every job that is open in St. Clair County, the ones that he's not going to cut because we don't need a lot of these jobs, which will help you taxpayers. Now, some of the people that don't get hired are going to be pissed, but I don't think Roger cares about being popular. I think Roger Cook cares about being successful. Roger Cook has pledged and sworn that every job that comes through St. Clair County that's controlled by St. Clair County will be advertised in St. Clair County, because he wants the people that pay the taxes, that pay these employees. He wants those people, black, white, men and women, and listen to this, people. How novel is this? He wants Democrats and Republicans to apply. He's going to be an equal opportunity employer. If you're more qualified and you're a Democrat, I believe Roger Cook will hire you, because he's going to take politics and make it go to the back of the bus. It's going to be success of this county, doing right by the people of St. Clair County. That's what Roger Cook's about. That's what I'm about. But these guys aren't about that. You all know that. But they're advertising in Madison County. How desperate can Kern be? Now they tell me a lot of the Democrats are bolting from Kern and Sprague. They're throwing money around now. They're promising jobs after the election. But people, just remember, they always promise before the election, and then they screw you after the election. But for him to be so desperate to contact, and I've got this from good sources, contacted Doug Jamieson. And you know Doug Jamieson, he's the head of the Republican Party. Kern's reaching out, not to the rank-and-file Republicans, because they'll have nothing to do with Kern. They are smart enough to know that Kern has screwed this county year after year after year. But they've reached out to Doug Jamieson. And you know Doug Jamieson, the one that didn't pay $100,000 in child support in Springfield and Sangamon County. The Doug Jamieson that was charged with domestic violence. The Doug Jamieson that was ordered by court order in Sangamon County to take a psychological test. The Doug Jamieson that had 2 DUIs. I'm sure the Mothers Against Drunk Driving don't appreciate that. I'm sure the people against the women against domestic violence don't appreciate him. But he's leading the charge, not for the proud Republicans, the rank and file in St. Clair County. He's leading the charge for the organization, the Republican organization, which is about 25 people. But think about it. That's why in St. Clair County there's never been any Republican political success. Because you get ignorant, no good son of a bitches like Doug Jamieson, Bar Viviano, Mary Turdman, and they screw the whole party up. See, they don't want the Republican ticket to get elected. And I said the Republican ticket because I'm not a Republican. I'm an independent. I'm an American. I'm going to do right by everybody. I don't give a damn if you're a D or an R or an I. I don't even give a damn if you're transgender. If there's a problem that I can help you with, well, I don't know about the transgender. I'm not going to follow him into a bathroom. But having said that, you people have to understand, this is going to be an election like never before. We're going to make history in St. Clair County. The St. Clair County Freedom Coalition, a patriotic movement, not, you hear me people, not a political organization. We're sort of like the Trump phenomena. The rank and file Republicans love Trump. Now the leaders, the Republican leaders, don't like Trump because they can't control him. And the Republican leaders in St. Clair County don't like the Freedom Coalition candidates because they can't control us. Because we're not going to be Democrats. We're not going to be Republicans. We're not going to side with one or the other. We're going to take care of the people in St. Clair County. I'm going to take care of the people in the 114th Legislative District. Roger and I will both be politically blind. We're not going to ask Hey, are you black? Are you white? Are you a man? Are you a woman? Are you a proud Democrat or a strong Republican? No, we're going to ask, are you qualified? And do you love this county? Do you love this country? Are you committed to do something for the people who are going to pay you? That's what Roger Cook's about. That's what Bob Romanik's about. That's what everybody on the St. Clair County Coalition's about. Being popular? I'm far from being popular. Don't want to be popular. You've heard me before. I'm not here to make a friend. I'm an old man. I'm here to make a difference, and I'll be damned one way or the other. I'm going to make a positive difference for St. Clair County, for where I live, for where you good people live. And you'll hear all throughout the campaign that Bob Romanik's a felon, Bob Romanik's a bad guy. And I am a felon, and sometime I can be a bad guy. Sometime I can be a good guy. It all depends on the circumstances. But I promise you one thing. I'll never make the biggest mistake. You heard me yesterday. I'll never sit there and do nothing. I'll never sit there and let these no-good son of a bitches from St. Clair County, this democratic culture of corruption, I will not let them destroy St. Clair County. Roger Cook won't. Roger just sat down. Roger, we're here at the airport. Isn't it amazing that everybody, Elliot Davis, Channel 5, the NBC crew comes from Washington, D.C., they all go in there with all their cameras. I go in with a little suitcase with my remote equipment, and you would think that I was going to kill somebody. You honestly think that I was going to kill somebody? They come running up to me, this no good, and you know what? I wonder if he's transgender, because he kind of looked like a woman, this director of security, Rich Burke. But see, I knew I was going to get problems with him. You know why? I knew I was going to get problems because he works for Kern. These guys are not going to give us a fair shake. Not going to give us a fair shake. Wait a minute, there's a gentleman right there. I got to take time out. Okay, pull right over here. Hey. No, I want to shake his hand. Come on, I want to shake your hand.
He wants to shake your hand.
Hold on, hey, hold this. Hey, I don't give a damn. There's people coming by supporting me, supporting Roger Cook. And now, no one other ignorant son of a bitch on the radio would take that airspace. But I wanted to shake that man's hand because we're not going to take anybody's vote for granted. But, Roger, getting back to my craziness, you know, why, and I know you know why. You've been busting your ass. You've been out in the county. You've been talking to people. You've pledged to advertise every job. You've pledged to do something with this airport. You're going to Washington, D.C., spending your money. You're going to talk to the people. So when you get elected, and I think the good people of St. Clair County know that you are the last choice, the last resort, because if these guys get another 4 years, Bob Sprague has told everybody he's getting out of this damn county after 4 more years. He'll be 76, 77. They're going to ruin this county. They're going to rape this county, and they're going to leave. But, Roger, when you're elected, are you going to stop some of this corruption? Are you going to stop some of this craziness? Because they're worried about you. They know that you're on the path to victory. They're pulling out every stop. They're promising Republicans this. They're promising Democrats this. They're down in East St. Louis promising people. But people, you got to understand, they're going to disrespect you this year after the election like they've done every year. But, Roger, what the hell you think about this, not letting me into the airport when I help pay the taxes in St. Clair County?
Well, I know the FAA, they've got rules because it is an airport, but it's disappointing because this is our property, the people of St. Clair County, and to allow us here, allow us in the terminal, and discuss this situation that people are fed up with. You know, back in 1997, when St. Clair County opened this up, they opened it up as a reliever airport. And this had nothing to do, absolutely nothing to do with Scott Air Force Base. Scott Air Force Base stands on its own. I get sick and tired of hearing Mark Kern talk about how this saved Scott Air Force Base. In '95, Alan Dixon, our former senator, was chairman of the Base Realignment and Closure Commission. I talked to him. Scott Air Force Base is one of the most important bases.
Yeah, it's not going anywhere.
No way, no how. But you know, from our conversations I shared with you, I've been working on finding all information I can find on on MidAmerica Airport. And this airport is absolutely killing us tax-wise. Mark Kern's out there saying this airport doesn't cost anything. We've lost, from county board members, and they really don't know the facts because it's hidden from them, $8 to $12 million a year when you consider our depreciation on our bond debt and the operating losses here. And the people of St. Clair County are demanding that we take a look at this, and we're doing it right now. I'll be going to Washington, D.C. on September 24th for meetings and to see if there's a way that we can make this, get this off the back of the people, the taxpayers of St. Clair County.
You know, Roger, you say 10 to 12 to $15 million. Don't forget, up to this point, the county is wasted, and not the county, the people of St. Clair County, they've wasted over $500 million. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back. We're broadcasting live from the street at MidAmerica Airport in the great town of Mascoutah, Illinois, because we the taxpayers couldn't get on the property. The other radio stations, Elliot Davis, anybody else can, but Bob Romanik can't, so I take that as a badge of honor. We'll be back with Roger Cook, and some more people are going to talk about the airport. We have some experts, and we'll be back right after this break. This is Bob Romanik. The Grim Reaper of Radio, and you're listening to the all-new KQQZ 1190 AM, simulcasting on KZQZ 1430 AM, America's bi-state voice of freedom, radical radio, and we are, as always, proud, very, very proud to be the Patriot. This is Bob Romanik, the Grim Reaper of Radio, and you're listening to the all-new KQQZ 1190 AM, simulcasting on KZQZ 1430 AM, America's bi-state voice of freedom, insane broadcasting, your guardian of the First Amendment today and every day, radical radio. And we are, as always, very, very proud to be the Patriot. I was just told, somebody drove by laughing, said they was listening to the other station. Kern must be having his people monitor my show, because he's sitting there lying like the little bitch boy that he is. I wonder if he's got a dress on today. I just wonder. But he's sitting there telling all you good people, lying, spitting lies. He's comparing the airport, MidAmerica Airport, to Scott Air Base. And he's telling these people that I've got the airport here even though it's losing money. Without the airport, Scott Air Base would be gone. Now, people, that's the biggest lie this no-good son of a bitch could ever tell you in your life. Liar! Scott Air Station. Liar! Liar! Yes, Kern, you are a liar. You've lied to the people of St. Clair County for the last 12 years. They're not going to take it anymore. Do you understand me, people? Does he think we're that stupid? He's telling you, we've taken this big $500 million with a B, $500 million loss at the MidAmerica Airport, but we got to keep taking this loss. We got to keep charging the taxpayers more and more and more money, because if not, we'll lose Scott Air Base. Now, that's the biggest lie ever came out of his mouth, and that's totally disrespectful to all of us in St. Clair County to think we're that stupid, Kern. We're not that stupid. We're not going to fall for your okey-doke. And Roger, we just spoke about it. How the hell can any man say something as stupid as that and think the people of this county are going to believe him?
Well, I go back to what I said earlier. Scott Air Force Base stands on its own. You go to Scott Air Force Base, and if you can talk to a base commander at the 375th Airlift Wing, or you can talk to the general who's over Transcom, that base is one of the most important bases to the mission and security of this country, and it's going to be there. Is this been a benefit because of the longer runway? Yeah. But the lies, and it's election time, and he's saying that we're not losing no money, and that if it wasn't for MidAmerica, Scott Air Force Base would been in jeopardy. That is totally untrue. I was involved in the BRAC Commission, the Base Realignment and Closure Commission. I talked to the people, And Scott Air Force Base is even stronger today because of the additional commands.
Yeah, it stands on its own. And, you know, Roger, I'll bring up the point I brought up earlier. The NGA, the National Spy Agency, I had inside information, and you people know when I get inside information, it's good. Kern would not. I tried to have them put it down in East St. Louis, an impoverished area. Kern told people, confidentially, I have to get, the only place we can put the spy agency is next to the airport, because I want that to be the reason that we had the airport open. I want that to be the reason that we've lost taxpayers' money to the tune of $500 million and counting. He was counting on the NGA, and he would have said, he'd have made another lie. He'd have thought we were stupid. See, people, that's why we've had this unsuccessful airport for the last 20 years. That's why we spent and squandered over $500 million of taxpayers' money, hard-working taxpayers' money, that you guys could have spent on your family, on education, on housing, on food. But he was going to say, now you see why we've wasted $500 million, because we got the NGA. The only way the NGA came was because of MidAmerica Airport. Now that didn't happen because of the culture of corruption. The government, the federal government, people, do you understand? This MidAmerica area is the best. Everybody's acknowledged that. But they would rather put it over in the crime-ridden North St. Louis than to have the political corruption that they would have had to dealt with in St. Clair County. Now, how egregious is that? How shameful is that? How embarrassing is that to the people of St. Clair County? And then this no-good asswipe son of a bitch, Mark Sweetcakes Kern, is going to add insult to injury and say, without MidAmerica, we're going to lose Scott Air Force Base. There's nothing further from the truth. You know, he's so desperate, probably next month, your family's going, you remember the preacher, I think it was Oral Roberts, if you guys didn't send him $10 million, God told him he was going to kill him. Remember that? I think that's going to be his next ploy. We got to keep this airport open, because if not, all your families are going to die a horrible death. This desperate son of a bitch is going to lie and lie and lie. And I don't think the good people of St. Clair County, and I know we've got a great listening audience all throughout the St. Louis area. I've talked with people in St. Louis County, St. Louis, St. Charles County, Jefferson County, Missouri, great people. They think this Kern is a complete idiot. We wonder why people are moving out of St. Clair County by the droves. We wonder. We don't have to wonder anymore, people. It's Mark Sweetcakes Kern and his lack of leadership. And Roger, I hope when you get elected that you'll at least, if you make a mistake, let us know. When I make mistakes, I let everybody know, but you're not going to make the biggest mistake and do nothing. And I think, will you pledge now on the air that you will never, no matter if it's a good story or a bad story, never duck the public, never duck the press, and always tell the facts?
Absolutely, Bob. I did that when I was mayor of Belleville. I made every decision based on what was best for the people. Let me go back to NGA. You know and I know, I shared with you my information from Washington, D.C. We lost $42 or $52 million at the Metro East Tax Levy District. Alan Dunstan, Mark Kern refused to enter into an intergovernmental grant that would have gave $42 or $52 million to improve the levy. They would not sign the intergovernmental grant because that involved,
they wouldn't have had control of the hiring.
That involved the Army Corps of Engineers to overlook bidding process and the hiring process. Guess what happened 6 months later? They announced NGA was going to North St. Louis because they knew that it was a pay-to-play scheme. If Mark Kern and Alan Dunstan would have entered into that grant, they no longer could give the work to people. It costs more, and it's just so they could build their machine. And that is a fact.
Yeah. People, you have to understand, you've been listening to me long enough. It's time to make a change in St. Clair County. And again, we're not politicians. We're patriots. We have to take this country back. And this is the first step in taking this country back. Now, Kern can get on every radio station except mine. And think about it, people. If I offered you $10,000, $20,000 to come on the radio, and I was going to give another matching $10,000, $20,000 to your favorite charity, not out of your taxpayers' money, your hard-working taxpayers' money, but my personal hard-working money, wouldn't you come on? Wouldn't you at least come on and argue with me? Come on and fight the fight? That's what a man does. Mark Sweetcakes Kern, he's not a man. He's not anything. He's just an illusion. He's just an illusion, and it's a bad illusion. He's like a ghost. He's here, he's there. He never takes blame for anything, but he'll take credit for everything. And that shows what lack of integrity, what lack of honesty this man has. Something good, he'll be cutting the ribbon tomorrow. Something bad, he'll be out of the office, cannot contact, no comment. And people, remember, we pay these people's salary. They work for us. You'd never let an employee tell you what to do. You'd never let an employee steal from you if you were a business person. Why? I ask us, why are we letting Mark Sweetcakes Kern, and one day it'll come out about his nickname, and it's funny. It ain't very pretty, and it is totally, totally embarrassing. But it's coming. It's coming one day soon. But when? When are we as the people of St. Clair County going to get past politics? We've all played politics. We've all been Democrats. We've all been Republicans. Let's change that. Let's all be Americans. And let's vote the person that's going to do something for our county. And you heard me yesterday, and I had a lot of black people contact me yesterday. A few of them called, stopped me on the street. Bob, you're right. We get nothing from the Democratic organization. We've been promised and promised for the last 10, 15, 20 years. And they've got nothing. But they always deliver the vote for Kern and Sprague. I don't think it's going to happen this time. I think the proud black community is wised up, Roger. You've been down there with the proud black community, and you know what they're saying. They're tired. They're tired of what's been going on, and I don't think they're going to take the lies anymore. I think that's why Kern's going to spend $700,000-800,000 of his mother's and father's hardworking money, not that little bitch boy's money, to get reelected, to put his signs up, to put all his brochures out. He don't care about the rest of the candidates. All he cares about is that title and controlling St. Clair County so we can be in debt another $500 million in 4 years.
Well, a big thank you to Bob Romanik. He's the one that's educated all the people down below the hill from Cahokia, all of our new friends down there in East St. Louis and Allerton and Brooklyn and Washington Park. If it wasn't for you allowing me and Carl on this radio station to push forward the movement of the Freedom Coalition, we would never be where we are today. And I tell you what, the people of St. Clair County on Election Day are going to be indebted to Bob Romanik for your sacrifice and the time that you've given us.
Now, you know, Roger, I appreciate that. Listen, I want to tell you, everybody likes to be complimented, but it's not about me. I'm compelled to do what I think's right. I'm an old man. I don't have much time left. A lot of old people want to make a mark. I'm kind of like a dog. I want to piss on these son of a bitches. I'm going to leave my mark on St. Clair County, and it's going to be a good mark. Everybody knows I'm not perfect. Everybody knows I've made mistakes. Everybody knows I'm going to make more mistakes. But everybody knows that I'll stand tall as a man, as you will. We have to stand up to these people. We have to stand up to this culture of corruption. So everybody, suck your gut in. Get off your asses and say, hey, listen, I'm tired and I'm not going to take it anymore, Roger. That should be everybody's slogan in 2016. I'm tired of this crap. I'm tired of this corruption. I'm tired of all the theft that the St. Clair County Democratic culture of corruption has bestowed upon us. I'm tired, and I'm not going to take it anymore. I don't think there's anything better that can be said for the good people of St. Clair County. What do you think?
I agree. I agree 100%. I say this to you again, and I say it to all the candidates running on the Republican ticket. We brought everybody together, independents, Republicans, Democrats, and they're all good people to bring honest, open government back. And without you, Bob, without the voice of this radio station, we've never been able to create this path to victory. United we stand, divided we fall. We're all together with all of our new friends, and we're going to bring honest, open government back to St. Clair County on November 8th.
Mr. Roger Cook, thank you for stopping by. Mr. Roger Cook, co-chairman of the St. Clair County Freedom Coalition, the Freedom Coalition fighting for black, white, men, women, Democrats, and Republicans. And also, you're the American, the people's candidate for St. Clair County Board Chairman. We're going to take a quick break. We're out here in the wind. We've got a tent over us now. Isn't it something we could treat it like stepkids, but they can bring a radio station from St. Louis when we're local and give them a nice room. They've got coffee up there for them. But that just shows you how disrespectful Mark Sweetcakes Kern is to the taxpayers of St. Clair County. And Mark Kern, Roger was right. You know what? I will give everybody the opportunity to be on this radio station, including you, Mark Sweetcakes Kern. You don't have to pay me. I'm not going to pay you anymore. I've done given my money to charities. But you can come on, have equal time anytime. And if you're any kind of a man, You won't do like you did in the case against me and send your son and wife in to fight me, politically, of course. You'll come and do it. Take your dress off. Take your pantyhose off. Get out of those high heels and become a man. Become a man like you should be, you asswipe. Your parents have to be so ashamed of you, Mark Sweetcakes Kern. What a rotten, no-good, low-life, good-for-nothing, bottom-feeding, political, parasitical punk. Mark Sweetcakes Kern. We'll be back right after this break. This is Bob Romanik. The Grim Reaper of Radio, and you're listening to the all-new KQQZ 1190 AM, simulcasting on KZQZ 1430 AM, America's bi-state voice of freedom, Radical Radio, and we are, as always, proud, very, very proud to be the Patriot. This is Bob Romanik, the Grim Reaper of Radio, and you're listening to the all-new KQQZ 1190 AM, simulcasting on KZQZ 1430 AM, America's bi-state voice of freedom, insane broadcasting, and we are Radical Radio, but we are always, seriously, people, we are very, very, very proud to be the Patriot. I had somebody tell me that Kern was on the radio for about 10 minutes. He found out Elliot Davis was coming over, and the no-good sniveling son of a bitch snaked out of the airport like the snake he is. He come in a van. He come in an unmarked van with tinted windows. Hey, Kern, you're not the president, you little bitch boy. You no-good son of a bitch. The people of St. Clair County have found you out. Now he's going to some kind of other celebration. This bastard will be all over the block for the next 60 days. But then you won't see him. You people understand. You know, it's a game with these politicians. It's life and death for us the people, us the American public. But it's a game for these politicians. And they all get together, Democrats, Republicans. They go to Springfield, they go to Washington. And they know it's a game, and they play the game, but I will tell you people, Democrats, Republicans in Springfield, the state legislature in Springfield, you better hope Bob Romanik does not get elected, because it will never be business as usual, because I'm coming after all of you. The Grim Reaper is coming after the Democrats, and he's coming after the Republicans. And I'll support the Democrats, and I'll support the Republicans that support my district, that support the good people of this great state of Illinois. I'll support the legislators that are going to try to cut taxes, not give their family and friends jobs. I'm going to support legislators who are going to pledge not to take a salary, not to take benefits, not to take a big pension that we have to pay for a part-time job. Those are the people I'm going to support. Anybody else, I'm coming to get. And speaking of coming to get, a good friend of ours that just flew in from Washington, D.C., he's been on several times. He knows the political lay of the land all throughout this great United States. We won't give his name because there's been times that he's had his life threatened, because he does a lot of political exposure, and it's not pretty. It's like my face. It's scary and ugly. So we call him endearingly, Charlie America. Charlie, what the hell's going on with this airport?
Bob, what the hell is going on? I thought you told me we were going to be sitting nicely in a lobby, and I'm out here under a tent waiting
in
for
the rain.
the wind.
But see, Charlie, that just shows you how they've got the other radio station. They're giving them coffee, donuts. Mark Kern was in there, but they run us out. Never ran media out of that airport, but all of a sudden Bob Romanik and the radio station has to get FCC clearance, FBI clearance, White House clearance, and that just shows you how disrespectful this political administration is to everybody in St. Clair County, because we represent the good people of St. Clair County.
Well, when you called me up and told me you were doing this, I talked to my old buddy, Tom Brokaw.
Yeah, I know Tom. Yeah, how's he doing?
He's doing okay. Had a cancer scare, but I called him because back in 1998 on the NBC, World News, Tom basically dubbed this airport not the gateway to the West, not the gateway to America. He called it the gateway to nowhere.
To nowhere, and that's where it's been. It's also been on Fleecing of America several times.
And I wanted to make sure. It was interesting because they let people in back in 98 to do this, and they said, listen, give us a chance. You're going to see the kind of things we do. Tom told me, talk to a fellow over at the St. Louis Business Journal. And I did. And he said, here's the story I wrote. A lot of people don't see it. But in 2009 and 2010, Bob, in 8 months, the St. Clair County folks decided, who were in charge there, to give a $2.68 million subsidy, and they had a total of 32 flights come from that company to take flowers from Columbia.
I remember that big debacle. I hope the people of St. Clair County don't forget at election time.
$70,000 a flight.
You're kidding me.
That's what they subsidized, and they said, we don't think we're going to do these subsidies anymore.
Well, hell, I hope not. Hell, I don't think we can afford it, we being the taxpayers of St. Clair County.
It was interesting. I was listening to Mark Kern on the way in, and read this most recent article in the Belleville News-Democrat, and he's talking about $1.5 million will break you even if you don't count the debt service.
Right.
It's kind of like, Bob, you can run your whole house and everything's good if you don't pay your mortgage.
And don't pay your bill. Yeah, you're exactly right, Charlie. You're exactly right.
So, kind of crazy stuff here, and I'm glad to see that you're still out here routed around 2 months from the election, Bob.
2 months from the election.
Today.
But you know what, though, Charlie? This airport, anytime it makes national news several times about the fleecing of America, when the NBC, CBS, the big channels come out because it's that big of a debacle, that tells you that there's serious problems here. There's been for the last 20 years, and Kern has no clue how to make it straight, so he's going to lie. We got to have the airport so we can keep Scott Air Base. We got to have the airport because maybe we're going to get the spy agency. It's going to be, and you've heard me, we're going to have to keep this airport or everybody's family member is going to die a horrible death. I mean, when is that? No, and I know you don't know. Rhetorically, I'm wondering when that no good, rotten bastard Mark Sweetcakes Kern is going to quit lying to the good people of St. Clair County.
Well, one thing I wanted to find out, I'm going to stick around for a day or two here, because in this article by the BND, the spokesperson for the county said part of the reason their costs are up are not just expenses and gasoline prices going down, which is a weird reason to say it, but also their tort expense. Now, that's got to be some kind of lawsuits. What kind of lawsuits are going on out here? I didn't see any more detail on it. Yeah. I didn't know if you knew or not.
No, I don't. But Roger Cook, we're getting all that information. I remember last year they settled a suit on 4 or 5 ladies that said they were sexually harassed by one of the county employees. Said they were sexually harassed. They didn't take it but about a week, and they ended up giving Charlie Suarez's niece, who's a county treasurer, part of the culture of corruption, the democratic culture of corruption in St. Clair County, a couple $300,000. There's $700,000, $900,000 out. So there's so many, not so much lawsuits, but they settled all these. You know, in Cahokia, here's Bob Sprague, a big union supporter. He says he's not a supporter of the unions. He lets the mayor out there fire illegally 8 or 9 hardworking union members. And now it's going to cost the taxpayers of Cahokia $1 million. But I thought, is Kern that stupid to let that go? No, because he makes money when they fire him, and he makes legal money when he has to defend it to bring them back. So Bob Sprague, and we're going to have pictures of his $2 million estate up in the Archers. We're going to get his address. We're going to probably pick it up there one day. Let everybody know the money he's taking out of the black community and taking it up to the Archers so him and his family can live a good life.
Bob, I did want to ask you one last thing on the political side. I hear tell, because people are kind of watching St. Clair County with the kind of wild amount of money you're putting in your campaign and the whole Freedom Coalition thing, which you've talked to people about. I get people who say, hey, he's kind of the Donald Trump of Illinois. I said, well, he would probably tell you that Trump is the Bob Romanik of the United States.
Yeah, there you go.
But it may be that even with the problems that Trump is having with the Republican Party, I understand you may be in a full-out war with the Republican Party here, or they're trying to go to war against all the candidates. What's going on?
Here's the problem, Charlie, in this area. The Republicans have never done good. Now they've got this asswipe son of a bitch, this Doug Jameson, and he's trying to destroy the Freedom Coalition. He'd rather see the Democrats win, and the good Republicans of St. Clair County, they're not organizational Republicans. They're independent Republicans. They know, and they're going to be out there to vote for us. But they want to take this election and give it to the Democrats so they can keep their positions as county chairman. And I have to say, Charlie, and I know you're all around, Mike Bost is the congressman. And they support Mike Bost completely. Mary Turdman, Barb Viviano, this Doug Jameson. And I don't believe that Congressman Bost and his picture and his posters are right next to Ron Dupert's, and I'll talk about him tomorrow. He's the judge that got arrested for allegedly groping a young black man, and I use that word allegedly kind of loose, if you know what I mean. And there's going to be a lot more coming out on Ron Dupert. But at the end of the day, I don't know why a congressman would be associated with the Republican Party, who their leader has been charged with domestic violence, had 2 or 3 DUIs, didn't pay $100,000 in child support, was ordered to take a psychological exam. And I got to say, Charlie, I would hope Congressman Bost, he's going to be in a race for his life, I think. I think this young Barra-Civic is making headway.
Well, I just wanted to clarify one thing. When I was pulling up, I heard just you say a few words. Did you tell me that you think there's some kind of collusion going on between the Democratic Party down here and the Republican Party?
Yeah, the Democrats have reached out to the Republicans to screw us. They promised Jameson something. They promised the few leaders of the Republican Party, but I don't think the rank-and-file Republicans, I don't think the good people of St. Clair County are going to fall for it. Now, we're going to lose 5% of the Republican support, the organizational support, but we're going to get 70-80% of the support from the proud, hard-working, rank-and-file Republicans and Democrats, because the Democrats are tired of what's going on, and they're tired of party politics all throughout this country. That's why Trump's become so popular.
Do you think that Bost could be involved in this because the Democrats will have his, opponent lay down if everybody... I mean, is everybody dividing it up here? Is this Chicago?
No, yeah, it's just about Chicago. But I honestly think, Charlie, what's going on, I think Kern and Sprigg and those guys are so desperate, and they've told people, this is our last 4 years. And if they take these 4 years, we're not going to get anything done in St. Clair County for 4 years. And then there's not going to be, they're going to pick all the bones off our bodies and all the meat, and there's going to be nothing left. But, Charlie, this airport, and we're just about out of time. You've talked to people in Washington, D.C. You've talked to people all over. You've talked to Tom Brokaw. Have you ever seen, other than Chicago, a bigger governmental debacle than the MidAmerica Airport, and bigger liars than Mark Sweetcakes Kern, who's going to give every reason to keep this unsuccessful, this costly airport, not costly to him, his family, his business, but to the good people of St. Clair County? Have you ever seen anything like this?
It looks like, Bob, even since Tom Brokaw sent it in 1998, it's still the gateway to nowhere. It
is the gateway to nowhere. Charlie America, keep it. You're going to be around for the next couple of weeks. This election's going strong. You come back. It's a pleasure to talk with you, a man of the world, a political consultant, and I would say a political guru. But I won't go quite that far. Charlie America, thanks for your time and thanks for all your valuable information. It's time we got to go, people. We're out here in the rain. See, we pay for this, and people are honking and waving in support. We pay for this airport, but we can't get in the airport. Now, St. Louis radio station can. Mark Sweetcakes Kern can. As long as you kiss his ass, you can come to the airport. So if you want to come to this airport, MidAmerica Airport, the $500 million debacle that it's cost the hardworking taxpayers, bring some chapstick, because you're going to have to kiss Mark Kern's ass to get in. And by the way, Security Director Rich Burke, will you kiss my white, hairy, stinky ass, and don't you ever come up running to me again? You know what? Why don't you have your wife come up and run up to me like you did? And I got to tell you one more thing, Mr. Rich Burke, Director of Security. When you talk to a man, and I am a man, you look in his eyes. You don't look at his crotch, if you know what I mean. And I think you do. This is Bob Romanik. The Grim Reaper of Radio, and you've been listening to the all-new KQQZ 1190 AM, simulcasting on KZQZ 1430 AM, America's bi-state voice of freedom, insane broadcasting at its finest. We are Radical Radio, and we're always proud to stand tall. Stand tall, you hear me, as the Patriot. We'll see you tomorrow at the studio. We won't be. It's raining like hell, and we, the taxpayers, are treated like this. This is not your business, Kern. This is our business, the people of St. Clair County. You've disrespected everybody because we are everybody. We are the men and women, black and white, Democrats and Republicans of St. Clair County. We're not going to take this disrespect much longer, Kern. November the 8th, 2016, the people of St. Clair County are going to speak. No, they're going to yell loud, and they're going to run your little stinky bitch boy ass, your sweet cakes ass out of office, if you know what I mean, Kern. And you do know what I mean. So we'll see you good people tomorrow. We'll be dry. But remember, people, remember, this is our airport. Kern doesn't own it. The county doesn't own it. These ass-white politicians don't own it. We the people of St. Clair County, have paid dearly for it, and we own it. So let's continue. Let's continue to expose these rotten bastards day in and day out. And we do that. And the good people of St. Clair County, you're all getting on board. Democrats, Republicans, men, women, black and white. You understand now we can't take this anymore. So let's continue to expose them, drag them over the political coals of hell, and destroy them on Election Day. I got to say destroy them politically. I wish I didn't have to, but I do. Destroy them politically, of course. And remember, tomorrow we're on Congressman Boss. Ron Dupert, you no good piece of crap, for what you've done to that poor family that lost a father, a son, a husband. We haven't forgot about you, you ass white bastard. So they told me you were religious, Ron Dupert. You spend a lot of time on your knees. But I don't think it's praying, if you know what I mean, and I think you do. So we'll see you good people tomorrow, and we'll destroy them once and for all. I hate to always say politically, of course, but politically, of course. I don't know if I mean that, but I'll say it. Right here on the dark side.
They're coming to take me away, ha-ha. They're coming to take me away, ho-ho, hee-hee, ha-ha. To the funny farm where life is...